right along, we have next up is Paul Wachtler. Paul is the Director of Business Analytics at LifeSize, and he really specializes in reporting really for that C-suite level, and that is something after my own heart. I love being able to provide insights at that level. And he's also a Tableau Forums ambassador. And he loves teaching people about Tableau. So we are super fortunate to have Paul here today. And so I'll go ahead and turn it on over to Paul.
Great. Hi, Emily. How are you?
I'm good. We are so excited. I'm so excited for this. Let's go.
Awesome. All right. So let me share my screen here, share my desktop. And let's go over to my presentation and we'll start it up. So hi, everyone. I'm Paul Wachtler. As Emily said, I am a Tableau Forums ambassador, and I am also the Director of Business Analytics at LifeSize. I have almost 8 years of Tableau experience and over 10 years of data visualization experience. My talk today is Vizzing at Work, improving your business dashboards and impressing your clients. So my goal here is to help you learn how to consistently create great dashboards and how to consistently deliver for your clients. Now, when I say clients, that really could mean anyone depending on your work. So that could be external clients, business stakeholders, executive, your boss, your coworkers. I'll be walking you through a couple of business dashboards that I've created to show you some strategies for creating these. And then afterwards, I'll provide some tips to help you improve your dashboard creation process. Now, I don't have a ton of time to go through all this, so if you have any questions, please post them in the Q&A window on Zoom, or you could follow up with me on Twitter. So the first section I'm going to go through is building business dashboards. In this section, I'm going to walk you through a couple of business dashboards I've built and explain why I believe they're effective at providing value for your clients. To keep it simple, I've used the Superstore dataset as it comes installed by default with every version of Tableau Desktop. So this right here is a profit ratio dashboard. So you may have a client or executive that wants to see what the profit ratio is at their company or at your company. So that's what this is providing here. A few things I want to point out. You'll notice that even though there's a lot of information on this dashboard, it's a pretty minimal layout. So trying to make good use of white space to make sure that you can see there are 3 main sections within this dashboard. Being consistent with my font and color throughout, so same font throughout, similar sizing, minimal color use as well. With the title at the top here, I'm informing analysis by asking a question. So if your client says that they want to make sure that they are above 10% profit, by adding this into the title here, it's just informing their analysis. So they come in, they see this question, then they can look at the big numbers at the top here and pretty quickly off the bat see that, yes, they are above 10% profit ratio for this time period here. So also within this dashboard, I've included some filters and parameters to allow users to find answers and to follow trends. I have a basic date slider in the top right here that allows them to select the date period that they want to see. I have these big numbers right here at the top of the dashboard. So if you're familiar with the big book of dashboards, they talk a lot about bands. I'm just going to call them big numbers here, but they really draw your attention and focus for these important KPIs that you want to show to your clients. I've also included 2 different types of parameters here. So the first is a sheet swapping parameter, and that's in use right here. So what you're seeing initially is profit ratio over time. But by using by using containers and by using this sheet switching parameter, it allows you to switch between 2 different views here. So now you can see sales versus profit. What's really nice about sheet switching parameters is that you could put as many different views as you want into this one container, allow your user to switch between all of them. And again, it's just providing more data for your clients without taking up more screen real estate. The other type of parameter I have is here at the bottom. It is a dimension switching parameter. So what this does right now, you can see top regions by profit ratio. This allows your clients to switch between different dimensions. Again, just putting more data into their hands. So if I click here, you could go to states and it'll switch region with states, categories or subcategories. And this is a little different than the sheet swapping parameter. This is literally just switching the dimension that's being called within one single calculated field. So another nice way of just including more information for your clients without taking up extra screen real estate. Couple more things I want to point out on this dashboard. So in the top right here, I have this little light bulb, and I like to include these on my business dashboards. So if you hover over here, what I've done is included a tooltip to include more information for your clients. So all I did was I created a new worksheet, put a shape on it, and then on that shape's tooltip, I included these instructions and then floated the shape in the top right here. So it's a nice way to provide some instruction for your clients or users of your dashboard in a nice, simple, and clean way. The last thing I want to show on this dashboard is dynamic number formatting. So you'll see that right now this number is formatted as 1.1 million. If I shorten this up, it'll go down to the hundreds of thousands. And now what this is doing, it's dynamically formatting the number. Out of the box, Tableau doesn't have the capability to format in millions, thousands, billions, anything you want. So what you need to do is create a custom string function calculation to be able to deliver this dynamic number formatting. Now, I used to have my own complicated long formula for being able to handle this. However, last year, former Tableau Zen master Rody Zakovich released a blog with his own formula for doing this dynamic number formatting. It's a lot shorter and simpler than the one I used to use, so I use this all the time now. So all credit to Rody for this formula. All you need to do, switch out value right here with your metric, and it'll take care of the rest of the formatting. So big thanks to Rody for releasing this. I use this all the time. The next dashboard I want to show you is an operational type dashboard. So your clients are going to be monitoring this one more frequently. What they want to see here, so they're shipping products. They want to see not only how long it's taking to ship products, but is the shipping time above the threshold that they've set. So what you can see in this dashboard, it's formatted similarly to the first. In terms of placement, I've placed the title and the date filter in the same areas just for consistency to make it easier for your clients to know where to go for these things. Again, I'm using minimal color here, so I'm only using one color, and it's this orange to show when either the weeks are above the shipping threshold or when you have different states above the shipping threshold. Now, this parameter up here allows the user to adjust the threshold, so maybe they want to move it up and see maybe 4.1 days, or they can move it down to 3.9. And what this is doing as I'm changing this parameter here, it's changing the reference line, and then it's actually changing the color as well. So anything above this reference line is going to be colored, anything below stays gray. It does the same on the bottom too. And one additional piece of functionality I've added, if you click on any of these weeks up here, what it does is it shows you the weeks above or below the shipping average underneath. So just another level of detail for your clients so they can dig in and answer their own questions before they come back to you and ask you to create another new dashboard here. Again, I've included the tooltip in the top right that you could hover over to see the instructions. One really cool piece of functionality that I want to point out here that I can't show you because I'm not on Tableau Online or Tableau Server, but if you have this published on Tableau Online or Tableau Server, I highly recommend that you set up data-driven alerts with this type of dashboard. Now, in version 10.3 of Tableau or later, you could set up data-driven alerts where there's a little alert button in the top right. You click that, and it allows you to set up subscriptions to this dashboard so that if the shipping threshold, let's say, goes above 4 days in a given week or for a given state, you can have an email sent to your clients automatically to alert them to this. Now, this is really powerful so that instead of them having to monitor this throughout the week or a few times a day, they could set up these data-driven alerts so that they will actually get alerted by Tableau Server, by Tableau Online, that something's above the threshold. So just another really powerful way of getting data to your clients. So the next section I'm going to go into here is some biz tricks. So I'm going to show you some formatting tricks to improve your business dashboards. And then also I'm going to give you a couple of time savers that are going to help you as you're creating these dashboards. So the first thing I'm going to go into is custom number formatting. I'm going to jump out of presentation mode here. I'm going to grab this little down arrow. I'm going to copy that, and you'll see why in a moment. So let me jump over to this. All right. So this is a very simple table. You can see that it's just category, subcategory, and I have profit over here. Now you'll notice with the number formatting, by default for the Superstore data set, the profit is automatically formatted as a dollar value. So you have the dollar in front. There's no decimal places after, and you get a little negative sign before the dollar sign. So let's go into the formatting, see what else we could do on top of that. So when I come in here to the number formatting, you'll see it's formatted automatically right now. And this is the default number formatting for the profit metric. What I want to show you is in this custom menu down here. However, if I just click on custom, you notice there's not anything here. So before I click down to custom, let's click on currency custom. Let's make it to the same formatting that it was before. So I'm going to remove the decimal places. I'm going to put the negative sign back in there. And now you'll notice when I jump over to custom, it's actually filled in some things here. Now, this might look like a bunch of a mess here, but what it's actually showing is two different sides of number formatting separated by the semicolon in the middle. So anything to the left of the semicolon is formatting for positive numbers. Anything to the right of the semicolon is formatting for negative numbers. You'll see it has the negative sign in there for negative numbers, has the dollar sign on both sides. It's also adding in this comma for thousands formatting. The really nice thing about this custom number formatting section is you could add in anything you want here. So let's say you want to see a positive sign before the positive numbers, you could put in a plus sign. Let's say you wanted to say up, you could do that. What's really nice about this custom number formatting, it lets you combine text, symbols, and numbers all in this custom number formatting without needing any type of additional calculation, which is really powerful and really nice. There's actually a third level of formatting in this custom number formatting section, and that's for zero formatting, so formatting of zeros. If I include another semicolon, anything I put after the semicolon is going to be used for formatting zeros. Now, I don't have any zeros in this profit metric here, so what I'm going to do is I created this calculation here called high-low profit. What this is going to do is really just going to seed our data with some zeros. So if the profit value is between 0 and 10,000, it's going to return a 0. Otherwise, it's going to return the profit. And again, this is just to put some zeros into our data set so I could show you the zero formatting. So we're going to do that. And you'll notice that any profit value that was between 0 and 10,000 is now showing as a 0 because of this calculated field. So let's jump back into our custom number formatting. Again, let's click on currency custom first to make sure that the custom menu is going to populate. We jump back here, and now if I put in another semicolon, anything after this is going to format the zero. So watch this. Let's say instead of zeros, you just want to see a space. You could easily just put a space. It'll format the zeros like that. You could put in dashes if you want. You could type in 0, anything you want. Again, it's just a really great way of combining different types of text and symbols and numbers without needing a calculation. So we'll do that here. All right, now the next thing I'm going to show you is conditional label formatting. So traditionally, if you wanted to color, let's say, the negative values red and you wanted to keep the positive values black, the simplest way to do that, you just drag your metric onto your color. You see I already have this set up here. I just have two-step colors with 0 in the center, so everything that's negative is showing in red. Anything that's positive is showing in black. That's a pretty simple way to do your color, but what if you want to get a little fancier with your label formatting? So say, in addition to coloring the negative red and the positive black, maybe you want the positive numbers to be larger and bold just to make them stand out more. So let's get rid of this coloring right here on the color mark. And what I've done is I've created two different fields, and I'll show you why in a sec. But this first one is positive or zero profit. So this is only returning the high-low profit calculation if it's greater than or equal to 0. And then I have a negative profit calculation. Negative profit calculation that's only returning the value if it's less than 0. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to get rid of high-low profit. I'm going to grab negative profit, positive or zero profit. I'm going to put them both on the text mark. So first thing to note, you can put multiple fields on the text mark. Super powerful. And what it's really doing here, you'll see that the numbers are pretty much set up how they were before when I was using the high-low profit calculation. But when I go into the label mark, you'll actually see that there are two different fields in here now, which are both fields that I dragged onto the label mark. So what this is doing if the number is negative, let's say, for this first metric, positive or zero, it's returning a null value and then only returning the value on the negative profit. For the next one where it's positive, it's returning its value here for positive or zero profit and returning a null value here for negative. So this is really powerful because now it allows you to format these two values differently, even though they're all showing up in the same column here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the negative profit over to red. We'll keep positive as black, but I'll make this bold. I'll make it larger. And now when I click, I'll make it a little bit larger than that. So now when I click OK, you can see that you have different formatting for different metrics depending on which value is being returned here. So this is just a really nice, powerful way for you to control the formatting depending on how your numbers are returned on your label. Another great thing to know about this, it also works for tooltips. So if you're setting up your tooltip, you could also put multiple metrics in there that return a value or a null value depending on the field. And then you could set up your tooltips to also have custom formatting just like these labels here. So now let's jump into a couple of time savers. Now these are really just things to help you. These aren't for your clients. These are to help you as you are creating your dashboard. So the first one, I use this all the time. It's replacing references. Now the business scenario would be, let's say you set up your workbook, you have this high-low profit field all over, you have multiple dashboards that you're using it in, you have multiple calculated fields that are using high-low profit. It's really all over the place. You have it set up great, just how you want it. And then your client comes to you and says, you know, instead of high-low profit, I really want to see the sum of sales across this whole dashboard. Now, one way to go about fixing this would be to go into every calculated field where you have high-low profit, into every dashboard and manually replace it. But that's really messy and it's going to take you a really long time to do. So instead, the easiest trick, and I use this trick all the time, you right-click on high-low profit, you click replace references, and then let's search for sum of sales. We're going to replace it with sum of sales. And now everywhere on the Superstore dataset or anywhere on the dataset that you're using where you've replaced that reference, it's replacing high-low profit with sum of sales. So now you don't manually need to go in and change anything. It's just replacing the references in each dashboard. So that's a super time saver. Like I mentioned, I use that all the time. My next time saver that I also love to use is the pause button. So let's say instead of Superstore, let's say that you're using some really large data source. It's very complicated. You have a lot of different calculations. Every time you drag a field into the view or you change the formatting, Tableau's processing after each one of those. So maybe it's taking a few seconds for Tableau to process after you drag each thing on, and really it's just wasting your time because as Tableau is processing everything after you're dragging it on, you're just waiting there for it to process. So you can't really do anything while it's processing. So to alleviate that, you have this pause button up here. So what the pause button does, it's gonna pause Tableau's auto updates. So that way you can put all your fields that you want onto your Viz as it's paused, and then click play and it'll process everything and show it all at once. So let's rebuild this chart here. Just simply what it's showing, it's sales by month between 2016 and 2018. It's plotting by month without year. So you can see the month at the bottom. The years are denoted by the different colors and really just allows you to like track seasonality or track year-over-year changes. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna clear the contents from this visualization. I'm just gonna click that. I'm gonna pause it, and now I'm gonna rebuild it. But since I have it paused, it's not gonna process after each field is being dragged on here or each click, which is really nice. And actually, sorry, let's change this to month. Here we go. Let's use the month of order dates. Let's put the sum of sales back on rows here. I'm going to copy order date over to filters. I'm going to select years. Since we're only looking between 2016 and 2018, I'm going to get rid of 2015. And then I'm just going to drag a copy of that onto color. Now I have all my fields in place. I click play once and everything's processed. So again, just a really nice time saver, a really nice way of saving you time so you don't have to sit there as Tableau is processing everything. So really make use of this pause button, especially if you have a lot of things to drag onto your visualization all at once. Now, I've shown you some different tips on building business dashboards and formatting and time-saving tricks. I wanted to take one slide here on what I'm calling non-biz tips. So these are really recommendations related to your work as a data viz professional. So the first one, talk to your clients, understand them and their requirements. Clients are going to ask you for all different types of things, and it's really up to you to make sure that not only you understand what they're asking for, but that they understand what they're asking for. And so ask them questions, not just about what they want, but how they're going to use your dashboard, how they're going to update it, who are the users who are going to be looking at it. Just sit down with them, ask them questions, and as you build a rapport with your clients, it'll be clearer what they're thinking and what they want. But really make sure to define your requirements with them. This will help you save a lot of time and rework that you may need to do if you don't understand them the first time. And now this leads into the second part. They may not know what they need, and help them figure it out. So they may ask you for one thing, but through asking them questions, you may realize like, hey, maybe that's not what you need. Maybe you're asking for this type of visualization. Maybe you need something else. Maybe you want to see one thing, but you really need all these other things. So be the expert for them, help them figure out what they need. And again, it just comes from talking to them and asking them questions. Now, this third point is really important. So if you're the source of answers, know where to find them. Now, when you're creating data visualization at work, even if you're getting your data from some other group and you don't even have to do anything with the data, you're just intaking it into Tableau and creating a dashboard, since you're the one that is delivering the dashboard and the visualizations, your clients are going to come to you for questions. So they're not going to go to the group who owns the data. They're going to come to you because you're the one that delivered the dashboard. So make sure that you know what is in your data, you know what is in your dashboard, what you've put in there, what filters are being used. And not that this means that you have to always know every answer, but if you don't know the answer, know where to find the answer. Know who to go to at your company to ask questions. Just make sure that you don't blindly put something into your dashboard, because it's going to come back to hurt you. Someone's going to ask you a question about it. And lastly, just know when to viz simply and directly and when not to. So your clients are really going to be impressed by your ability to deliver what they want quickly and repeatedly. Get this process down first, and then you can work to impress after. If you fail at the first part, the second part doesn't really matter. So make sure you're giving them value, giving them what they want. Bar charts, line charts, tables, they're great, especially if up front, just to get them what they want. And then once you've gained their trust, once they're happy with your work, then you can work on more advanced visualizations or something more complex. But really just focus on the delivery up front, and then everything else will work itself out. So in conclusion, I love data viz and analysis. I've built my career around being reliable and consistently delivering for my clients. So my best advice for you, be valuable to your clients and you'll go far. So thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to open it up for any questions in the QA window, or you could definitely reach out to me on Twitter at @P_Wachtler. Thank you.
Yes, Paul, oh my gosh,